talk in the same breath about Binet and Freud or about Pavlov and Thorndike, it has not been customary to talk in the same breath about man as a creature of unique individual aptitudes and man as a creature fixated at the level of a childhood by unresolved problems lodged in the subconscious. What now becomes unmistakably clear, however, is that all psychologists and psychiatrists who contribute true insights into the nature of man are talking about the same subject. They are talking about man. What one says, therefore, can scarcely be wholly irrelevant to what another says. What they all say becomes by common implication of prime importance to our task of creating a world suitable for the nature of man. What has been joined together in human nature can be put asunder only for purposes of research. Sooner or later, it must be rejoined for purposes of living. When Binet announced that psychological growth does not automatically keep pace with physical growth, he was reporting on a specific, deliberately restricted set of experiments. Yet there is a telling connection between what he had to say and what Freud had to say about why emotional growth is so often halted long before physical adulthood is reached. Likewise, there is a connection between Freud's insight and Pavlov's studies of the conditioned response. Freud, for example, gave us one reason for arrested development. The fact that various cultural taboos, such as sexual taboos, made it impossible for children to escape a sense of guilt, made it impossible for them to acknowledge their own natures. But the child's response to a taboo is a conditioned response. Pavlov threw clear light upon the process of its establishment. The principle of the conditioned response is equally clarifying when we turn to Thorndike's analysis of why most adults shy away from organized learning. They have been brought up to believe that such learning belongs to childhood. When, moreover, Thorndike talks of those resistances to learning that exist within the self, we find quick reason to refer to what we have been taught by Freud and his followers. How often, for example, is the process of learning brought to an end because an individual is still acting like a childhood drama of dependence and submission, and is thus turned away from any genuine desire to become independent and competent? How often is the adult emotionally disqualified for a program of learning by the fact that he is making a sense of significance out of a child aggressiveness that will make him unwilling to cast any other person in the role of teacher? Once we begin thus to trace the many linkages that join these separate insights and build them into one insight, we begin to see that what psychologists and psychiatrists have collectively declared is that the business of man is to mature psychologically as well as physically, to mature along the lines of what is unique in him and what he healthily shares with all of his fellows, and to continue the maturing process throughout his life. This is the maturity concept, and this is the concept that challenges us in the 20th century and that offers us hope.